Welcome back to the Deep Dive, the place where we distill hours of research, real-world experience, and insider tips, basically creating the blueprint you need to be instantly well-informed.
That's right.
Today, we're focusing all our energy on Southeast Asia, specifically a country that our sources, well, they consistently laud as a traveler's paradise, Vietnam.
It's a massive undertaking, yeah. But our mission today is pretty clear. We've synthesized, dozens of travel vlogs, detailed guides, some for 10 days, some up to 3 weeks, and even some really focused food blogs.
Right.
All to provide you with the ultimate shortcut. This isn't just a summary, you know. This is the tactical knowledge you actually need to explore Vietnam. Yeah. From navigating those chaotic cities to tasting its genuinely world-class cuisine.
Okay, let's unpack this then. We probably have to start with just the sheer level of endorsement, right? I mean, this isn't just flagged as a fun trip. One source actually called Vietnam their favorite country to travel to, period, of all time. And it's consistently cited as the #1 Southeast Asian destination, which, I mean, that's incredibly high praise considering the competition just in that region alone.
It really is. And that high ranking, it seems rooted in this unique mix of, like, deep history, staggering natural beauty, and, well, it's also extremely affordable.
Okay.
However, and this is the critical logistical point you need to grasp right away, Vietnam is long, like really long. It stretches vertically all the way from the Chinese border up north down to the Gulf of Thailand in the south.
And that length, that obviously dictates the trip duration, doesn't it?
Exactly. I mean, while you could technically do a highly focused 10-day trip, maybe just hitting the north or something, the overwhelming consensus from our sources is that Vietnam demands time.
Right.
One really experienced traveler even noted that a full month still didn't feel like enough time to properly absorb everything.
A whole month. Wow.
Yeah. So if you're planning a journey, the sources suggest thinking of 10 days as, like, the absolute bare minimum, but really aiming for 2 to 3 weeks. That's where you start to capture the regional differences and, you know, allow for those unexpected, unforgettable moments.
Makes sense. So given that vertical stretch, how do travelers usually tackle it efficiently? We kind of need a structural overview of the typical journey.
Yeah, the preferred strategy that emerged is actually pretty simple and linear. You pick a direction and you stick with it.
North to south or south to north?
Exactly. Start in Hanoi and work your way south to Ho Chi Minh City, or, you know, do the reverse. Yeah. And to cover the, 1,000+ miles between the main hubs, use the infrastructure.
Okay.
Now, the bus system is robust, and we'll definitely touch on the trains later. But the most efficient way for city hopping, surprisingly perhaps, is using affordable domestic flights.
Really? Flights?
Yeah, our travelers found them pretty reliable and, honestly, quite inexpensive. They cut down travel days into just a few hours. Big time saver.
Okay, let's start at the top then. Hanoi. Capital city, second largest. The description that kept popping up was chaotic charm, buzzing streets, total sensory overload. Why is Hanoi the place to start this deep dive?
Well, Hanoi just immediately throws you into Vietnam's complex history. It's this city where, like, ancient tradition crashes right into furious modernity. And all of it has this unmistakable layer of French colonial influence.
Right from the takeover in the 1850s.
Exactly. And you see it everywhere. The Grand Boulevard, sure, but also specific structures like St. Joseph's Cathedral. That was one of the first major buildings the French put up. It's like a physical reminder of that deep, often difficult history.
And beyond the big buildings, the Old Quarter is famous for just its intensity, right? The street-level energy. Yeah. But the spot everyone's probably seen online is Train Street.
Ah, Train Street, the Instagram wonder. Yeah, it's definitely unique. You've got cafes and actual homes built, like, inches from the railway track.
Inches? Seriously?
Literally inches. But here's the crucial detail, the practical bit. Don't plan your whole afternoon around just hanging out there. The trains only run a few times a day. You absolutely have to check the schedule first.
Oh, okay.
And when the train does come through, it's terrifyingly close, honestly. And it's over pretty quick. It's more like a scheduled event than constant action.
Good tip. And speaking of things needing careful navigation, the motorbikes. The classic Hanoi challenge. Crossing a street that feels like it's packed with a million scooters. I mean, for someone new to that, it must be deeply intimidating.
Oh, it is. And this is where you kind of separate the tourist from someone who's starting to get the hang of it. The natural instinct is to wait for a gap, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But in Hanoi, or Ho Chi Minh City for that matter, that gap, it's pretty much never going to appear. The key insight, the synthesis from all the sources is this. Well, you have to stop seeing the traffic as individual bikes.
Okay. So how should you see it?
Think of it as a single flowing river.
Right, you have to step into the flow, but I mean, how do you stop them hitting you? That seems terrifying.
You just step out confidently
Yeah.
and maintain a slow, predictable pace. That's the key. The drivers, they aren't really looking at your eyes, hoping you'll stop for them. They're watching your hips, your body language, anticipating your path.
Ah, okay.
They are masters of this flow, truly, and they will navigate around you. It's when you panic or freeze or suddenly speed up, that's when you become unpredictable and actually increase the risk.
So crossing the street is like a cultural trust fall.
Exactly. A cultural trust fall. It's essential for surviving and honestly enjoying the urban energy.
Okay, so once you've mastered that urban flow, it's time for some nature. Ancient masterpieces. First up, Ha Long Bay. About 100 miles east of Hanoi, UNESCO World Heritage Site, 600 square miles of water.
And the geology there is just, it's mind-boggling. We're talking about 1,600 towering limestone pillars and islets, and they've been shaped by erosion for, get this, 500 million years.
500 million years. Wow. That's incredible.
Yeah, that kind of time scale just gives you this sense of geological awe. Travelers really enjoyed just, spotting shapes in the formations, like the fighting cocks or the frog islet, based on how they looked.
And what's the best way to really experience it? What did the sources recommend?
Hands down, the 24-hour stay on a dedicated boat. That's the superior option.
Overnight on the bay.
Yeah. It usually includes food, and people really emphasize the incredible piece of just waking up, looking at your cabin window, and seeing those limestone karsts right there.
That sounds amazing.
A day trip is doable from Hanoi, sure, but it involves really long transit times. It kind of turns this beautiful experience into quite an exhausting one, even if it does pack in things like kayaking and cave exploring.
You mentioned something interesting about the floating villages there, too, a cultural footnote.
Yes, that was quite poignant, actually. For centuries, these floating fishing villages were home to entire communities living right on the water. But the Vietnamese government brought in a directive. They cited two main reasons. First, wanting to give the kids better access to education and healthcare on the mainland. And second, protecting the unique ecosystem of the UNESCO site from, well, permanent human habitation.
So they moved the communities?
Most inhabitants were moved to the mainland, yeah. Which means that while the scenery is obviously still breathtaking, the cultural context has shifted quite recently. Tourism is now the main source of income for many of those displaced communities.
Interesting dynamic. Now, if Ha Long Bay feels too vast, or maybe the weather's not cooperating, the sources pointed to a really cool inland alternative, Ninh Binh.
Yes, Ninh Binh or Tam Cock. It's often called Ha Long Bay on land.
On land? How does that work?
Well, here, the limestone karst formations, they rise up dramatically from these emerald green rice paddies and rivers instead of the sea. The activities are much more focused on serenity.
Okay.
You can take these incredibly peaceful boat journeys along the rivers. And famously, the boat operators often row with their feet.
With their feet? Why?
Yeah. It's a traditional technique that leaves their hands free for other things, like guiding the boat or maybe tending to something. It's quite something to see.
Wow.
And alternatively, if you're feeling energetic, there's a pretty steep hike up Hang Mu Peak. The reward is this spectacular panoramic view over the whole landscape. Definitely worth the climb if you're up for it.
Okay, moving south now into the central region, we hit two really distinct cities, Hoi An and Hue. One traveler actually called Hoi An their favorite city in the entire country. What's the appeal?
Hoi An gets that praise, I think, because it has this surprisingly laid-back atmosphere. And that's largely thanks to a partial motorbike ban in the historic center.
Ah, that makes a difference.
Huge difference. Plus, it was a crucial trading port back in the 16th century, which explains why you see this deep mix of Chinese and Japanese influences in the architecture. It's really beautiful.
And the visuals of Hoi An are so iconic, aren't they? The colored lanterns.
Oh yeah, the lanterns are everywhere. They're traditionally placed outside homes for good luck. And then at night, you see people setting flickering candles adrift on the river.
What's that for?
It's a way of making wishes for happiness, luck, love. It's really quite magical to watch.
Sounds lovely. And its economy is driven by one very specific industry, right? Tailoring.
Oh, massively.
Yeah.
There are roughly 400 tailors operating just in this small historic town.
400? That's insane.
It's an incredible density. You can bring your own ideas or just flick through their massive portfolios, thousands of styles. You pick your fabric, they measure you up, and boom.
How fast are we talking?
Often they deliver a custom-fitted suit or dress, including fittings and the final product within like 24 to 48 hours.
That's unbelievable speed. Bespoke clothes in a day or two?
It's fast fashion, but elevated to bespoke quality. Pretty unique.
The city's history is also tied up in myth, isn't it? Something about the Japanese bridge. It's even on the 20,000 dong note.
Yeah, the Japanese bridge. Dates back to the 15th century. And it's central to this local myth about the Namazu.
The Namazu.
It's this giant mythical underground catfish. In ancient East Asian legends, the Namazu was believed to cause earthquakes when it thrashed around.
Okay.
So the story goes that the bridge is built in a way, or maybe magically tied down at both ends, to literally hold the Namazu still and prevent earthquakes.
Wow, so the bridge isn't just a bridge, it's like an architectural safety measure against a mythical catfish.
Pretty much. It links this cultural fear of natural disasters directly to the built environment. Fascinating stuff.
And just a short hop north of Hoi An is Hue, the former imperial capital. This is where the royal history really comes alive.
Absolutely. Hue is dominated by the Imperial City Citadel. It's vast. Took 27 years to build, apparently one of Vietnam's largest architectural complexes ever.
Impressive scale.
Incredible scale, yeah. Though tragically, a huge amount was lost during wars, and due to neglect over the years, only about 10 major buildings are left out of the original 160 or so.
Oh, that's sad.
It is. But the royal legacy continues outside the city walls, too. That's where you find the 7 elaborate royal tombs of the Nguyen dynasty emperors.
Right. Let's maybe focus on 2 key emperors buried there. The sources mentioned Minh Mang and Khai Dinh, who apparently contrast quite sharply.
Yeah, that's a great comparison. Travelers often visit both tombs. Minh Mang, he was generally well-liked, remembered as a ruler who kind of stabilized Vietnam.
Yeah.
His tomb complex reflects that it's harmonious, very classic Vietnamese style.
Okay.
Khai Dinh, on the other hand, deeply unpopular. He was largely seen as a puppet of the French colonizers.
And his tomb reflects that.
Totally. His tomb is incredibly elaborate, but it features all this French Gothic and Rococo influence, which, only reinforced the public's view that he was too close to the foreign power. The architecture itself basically tells the political story of his reign.
Okay, so leaving that sort of ancient royal stillness of Hue behind, we pivot south and brace for impact, right? The modern, intense energy of Ho Chi Minh City is still often called Saigon.
Yeah, HCMC is a total shock to the system after Hue and Hoi An. It's the most populated city and arguably the most forward-looking city in Vietnam. The speed is just jarring.
And hot.
And hot, yeah. Consistently hovering around 30 degrees Celsius, apparently. And it's home to over 7 million motorbikes. Makes Hanoi feel almost tame in comparison.
7 million. Wow.
Yeah. But there's a real defining moment, especially around dusk. The main promenade leading to the city hall, it just comes alive in this blaze of neon lights. Really showcases the commercial heart of the country.
And its modern ambitions are literally scraping the sky, aren't they?
That would be Landmark 81. Massive skyscraper, stands 460 meters tall. It's the tallest building in Vietnam.
Right.
And it really symbolizes the city's push towards global modernity, infrastructure development. It's kind of the perfect endpoint for this north-to-south geographical journey, showing that trajectory from ancient empires to a high-tech future.
That overview sets the stage perfectly, but let's be honest, the real draw for so many people, the reason they book the ticket is the food. It's world famous. But before we get into the mouth-watering stuff, let's tackle the big question. The fear of getting sick from street food. Is it justified?
Okay, so according to travelers who spent significant time there, this fear is widely overhyped.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, some caution is needed, like anywhere. But panic is counterproductive. The sources found that mostly common sense is your best friend.
Like what?
Like using Google reviews, they're surprisingly reliable. Locals and tourists will definitely call out places with bad sanitation. And yeah, stick to bottled water. If you're super cautious, maybe avoid ice, although most tourist-focused places use filtered ice now.
Okay.
But the most important tip, eat where you see crowds, especially locals. A busy stall means fresh ingredients, fast turnover. That's usually a good sign.
Good practical advice. Okay, now for the essentials. The big 3 dishes you absolutely cannot leave Vietnam without trying. We have to start with pho.
Essential. And we must stress this for everyone listening. The correct pronunciation is pho, not pho.
Got it. Pho.
This savory, aromatic broth with noodles and meat. It's everywhere. And you really should try it early and often because there are subtle regional variations that are fascinating to discover.
Okay, pho noted. Next up, the undisputed champion of cheap and delicious, banh mi.
Banh mi. It literally translates to baked goods which is a nod to that French baguette legacy, right?
Yeah.
It's just celebrated as the best street food because it perfectly blends that French bread technique with amazing Vietnamese fillings. And it's unbelievably affordable.
Oh, affordable.
Sometimes as low as 80 cents US. Seriously. One traveler described this life-changing pork banh mi. Succulent meat, crunchy, fresh bread just soaked in the drippings.
Yeah.
Savory. Crunchy often got a surprising spicy kick, too.
Sounds incredible for under $1. Okay, and number 3, the clever invention that became a global hit. Egg coffee. Café Trump.
Yes. This is such a brilliant example of making something amazing out of necessity. During the French colonial times, fresh milk was really scarce and expensive.
Right.
So resourceful locals came up with this. They mixed strong, bitter Vietnamese coffee with this thick, sweet, frothy layer made from whipped egg yolk, condensed milk, and sugar.
Egg yolk, how does that taste?
It's rich, almost like a dessert. Think liquid tiramisu, or maybe a creamy Christmas drink. The original spot, Café Giang in Hanoi, is apparently still going strong. A lot of travelers wish they'd found it earlier in their trip.
Okay, adding Café Giang to the list. Now, beyond those national icons, Vietnamese food is intensely regional, isn't it? Hoi An, for example, has a couple of dishes you supposedly can't get authentically anywhere else.
Yes, exactly. And this is where local geography becomes key. First, you have Cao Lao.
Cao Lao.
These are thick noodles, kind of like udon, served with barbecued pork and a pork-based gravy. What makes them unique, truly unique, is that the noodles have to be cooked using water from specific ancient wells right there in Hoi An.
Seriously, well water.
Yeah. Apparently, the high mineral content in that specific well water gives the noodles their distinct texture, that chewiness, and a slightly yellow color. So if you see Cao Lao advertised somewhere else, it's basically an imitation. It needs that Hoi An well water.
That is incredibly specific. Wow, what's the second one?
The second one is white rose dumplings. They're named because they look delicate, like little flowers. They're light, flattened rice paper wrappers, usually stuffed with pork or shrimp. Very delicate, very Hoi An.
That detail about the well water, that's exactly the kind of insight we aim for in these deep dives. Okay, what about De Lot, the cooler highland region? What kind of food did people find there?
Right, Dalad's cooler climate means cozier, unique snacks often come out at night. One favorite was Vietnamese pizza, or banh trang non.
Vietnamese pizza.
Yeah, it's not really like Italian pizza. It's crunchy rice paper grilled over charcoal, then topped with egg, sometimes cheese, scallions, dried shrimp, various savory bits. It's like the ultimate late-night street snack. One source raved about a specific vendor known as Auntie Din.
Auntie Din's Vietnamese pizza. Got it. What else?
They also found something called banh mi siu mai, which was described as like a deconstructed banh mi. Yeah, it's basically a really flavorful, hearty pork meatball soup, and it's served with a piece of baguette specifically for dunking and soaking up all that amazing broth. Perfect for the cooler weather up there.
Oh, that sounds like proper comfort food.
Totally.
Yeah.
And one final unique Dalat thing, because it's cooler, locals often enjoy warm soy milk in the evenings. It's often served with little pastries for dipping. Apparently, a really common, comforting social nighttime ritual there.
Warm soy milk and pastries.
Interesting. Okay, circling back quickly to Ninh Binh, our Ha Long Bay on land, they have a thing for a specific type of meat there.
They do indeed. Because of the rocky terrain, I guess, Ninh Binh is known for its goat meat dishes.
Goat.
Yep. Now, while several sources mention the traditional presence of goat blood soup,
okay,
maybe not for everyone.
Maybe not. But the more adventurous, though, less extreme travelers opted for these incredibly flavorful, spicy, tangy grilled goat skewers, often served with rice paper and herbs. Sounded pretty delicious, actually.
Okay, stepping back from specific dishes, the coffee culture itself seems like a huge part of daily life everywhere in Vietnam.
Oh, it's pervasive. It's essential. You see these tiny, low-to-the-ground plastic tables and chairs spilling out onto the pavements absolutely everywhere.
Right, the tiny chairs.
Yeah. They just invite you to sit down, grab a coffee, take a moment, and just watch the world, the incredibly intense world flow by.
What kind of coffee, besides the egg coffee?
Well, the consensus favorite specialty drink seemed to be coconut coffee.
Right.
It's sweet, rich, usually blended like a refreshing frappe. Big hit.
Sounds good. Any misses?
There was one less loved variety mentioned, yogurt coffee. Apparently it's quite sour. Has this sharp, almost Greek yogurt tanginess that was just too acidic for most Western tastes. A reminder that not all local specialties travel well.
Fair enough. My favorite discovery story actually came from Ho Chi Minh City, finding the Secret Garden restaurant. seem to perfectly illustrate that reward you get for looking beyond the obvious.
Oh yeah, that was a great anecdote. The definition of a hidden gem. The travelers had the address, but they found themselves in this dark alleyway facing a really unconvincing, almost sketchy-looking entrance.
Right, they almost turned back.
They almost did. They were really doubting themselves.
Mm-hmm.
But they pushed on, went up these stairs, and suddenly emerged into this beautifully lit, really tranquil rooftop, setting the actual secret garden.
And the payoff.
The best part, they had this amazing multi-course authentic feast for under 15 pounds, proof that sometimes the best, most affordable, most delightful experiences are hiding just behind a slightly dodgy-looking door.
Okay, that food section alone is probably enough to make people book a flight.
Yeah.
But let's pivot now to the practical realities, logistics. Every traveler makes mistakes, right? Thankfully, our sources made some big ones, so we don't have to. What was flagged as the absolute #1 biggest mistake a traveler can make?
The visa warning. This is critical logistics point number 1.
Yeah.
Failure to check the national holiday calendar.
Okay, explain.
So, a traveler was planning their visa application, assuming the standard, 3 to 5 day processing time. Normal enough.
Right.
However, they applied just before a major national holiday, maybe it was Tet, the Lunar New Year, or Reunification Day, one of the big ones. And they just didn't realize that during these long holiday periods, government offices, including visa processing centers, shut down completely. Weekends, too.
Oh, no. So what happened?
They ended up stranded at the airport. Visa hadn't come through. Resulted in really costly flight changes, significant delays to their trip. A nightmare scenario, basically.
So the clear action item here is, before you even think about booking flights, find the Vietnamese national holiday calendar for the specific year you're traveling. Cross-reference those dates carefully with your expected visa processing time.
Precisely. Do not assume anything will be open. This isn't just good advice, it's absolutely essential prep. Don't skip this step.
Okay, lesson learned on visas. Moving on to money. We live in an age of tapping cards, Apple Pay.
Is cash still king in Vietnam?
You definitely need cash more often than you might expect, especially for street food, smaller shops, local markets, that kind of thing.
Right.
And here's the really vital traveler tip regarding ATMs. Call your bank before you go.
Why specifically?
Because many foreign bank cards just get flat out declined by the majority of Vietnamese banks and ATMs. It leads to this really frustrating scramble, wandering around trying machine after machine, trying to get cash out.
Been there, done that in other countries. It's stressful.
Exactly. So if you call your bank beforehand, you can ask them which specific Vietnamese banks, like Agribank or Vietcombank, maybe others have partnerships or working relationships with your card network.
Ah, so you can target those specific banks.
Yes. Then you can actually Google Map those specific ATM locations when you arrive. It saves so much hassle and potential panic when your card inevitably gets rejected by the first few random machines you try. It's smart. Okay, we've got our visa sorted, we've got our cash. How do we actually navigate these sprawling, sometimes chaotic cities? We talked about walking into the scooter flow, but what about actual transport?
You pretty much rely on the super app ecosystem. Yeah. Specifically, Grab.
Grab, like Uber.
Exactly like Uber, but dominant in Southeast Asia.
Yeah.
It's indispensable. Use it for ordering food delivery, hailing regular taxis, but most crucially, for hailing scooter taxis.
Scooter taxis?
Yeah, Grab bike. Incredibly efficient for getting around congested cities. And interestingly, sources noted this rapidly growing trend of new, quiet electric Grab bikes and cars appearing, which is obviously great for noise and air pollution.
Okay, what's the difference in experience? Booking a Grab car versus a Grab scooter?
Well, for longer distances, or if the weather's awful, sure, grab a car. But for navigating the really dense, slow-moving traffic in central HCMC or Hanoi, the scooter is almost always superior.
Fast.
Way faster.
Yeah.
And cheaper. It can just weave through jams that would bring a car to a complete standstill. The rider gives you a helmet, you hop on the back, and just embrace the flow we talked about earlier.
Okay. And for longer distances between cities, besides flights?
Well, for things like reliable airport transfers or booking buses or trains between major hubs, Klook was also recommended. It acts as an intermediary. It's maybe slightly more expensive than booking direct, but potentially more reliable and offers customer service if things go wrong.
And let's just hammer home that central tip about the scooters one more time, because it connects directly to using Grab bike or just walking around.
Right. If you're walking, trust the flow. Step out confidently, keep a steady pace, they will go around you. If you're riding on the back of a Grab scooter, trust your driver. They know what they're doing. Don't be timid.
Because Trying to fight it or waiting for that mythical huge gap?
There's a guarantee you'll be stuck in the curb forever, watching the city buzz past without you.
Okay, now, Vietnam is always ranked as like top 3 most affordable countries for travelers. But the sources did warn that your daily budget can vanish pretty quickly if you're not careful. What are the common budget busters?
Yeah, the affordability is definitely true for the basics. Your street food, basic guest houses, local transport. Where the budget gets hit is on the bigger, specialized purchases.
Like what?
Like maybe a high-end private tour or niche classes like that $40 coffee-making workshop someone mentioned. Or accessing fancy observation decks. That landmark 81 viewing platform package was over $30 Australian.
Right, those add up fast.
You really do.
Yeah.
So you just need to be mindful and choose your splurge experiences carefully, because a few of those can blow through an otherwise pretty modest daily budget quite quickly.
Makes sense. Finally, on logistics, let's tackle the train travel question. We know trains exist, but are they a romantic, scenic way to travel or more of a logistical headache?
It seems like it can be both, honestly.
Yeah.
Highly conditional. Booking train tickets directly with the railway will definitely save you money. However, as one traveler found out the hard way, when their booked private sleeper cabin actually broke down mid-journey, forcing them into a shared compartment.
Oh, dear.
They had zero customer service recourse, no refund, nothing. That's where using a middleman service like 12Go Asia can be worth the extra cost. They provide that layer of customer support and can help sort things out, maybe get compensation when things inevitably go wrong sometimes.
Right, the value of the intermediary. And what are the sleeper trains actually like?
Typically, they offer 4-berth first-class cabins, so bunk beds, shared facilities down the corridor. The general consensus from people who've done it was that the bottom bunk is the one to go for.
Why the bottom bunk?
Apparently, it offers slightly more headroom and space. And crucially, you don't have to do that awkward climb up or down in the middle of the night if you need the loo.
Good tip.
So yeah, it could be an adventure, definitely a different way to see the country unfold. But you need to weigh that potential romance against the real possibility of logistical frustrations or breakdowns.
Okay, shifting gears completely now. Let's move beyond the practical stuff and talk about the moments that really stick with you. The unforgettable experiences, the surprising connections, the sheer beauty of the place. Where did our sources find moments of real solitude amidst all that energy and chaos?
The Trang An boat tour in Ninh Binh came up repeatedly for this. It's described as breathtakingly serene. These small boats, often rowed by foot, as we mentioned, gliding silently through stunning landscapes and these dark, watery cave passages.
Sounds peaceful.
Incredibly peaceful. And the ultimate traveler hack for the spot: get there ridiculously early. Google Maps said it opened at 8 a.m., but the gates actually opened around 6 a.m.
Ah, the early bird.
Exactly. By going super early, they got to experience this whole network of caves and karst scenery in almost complete solitude. Just them and the rower. Before all the tour buses and crowds descended later in the morning, made a huge difference to the experience, apparently. Profoundly peaceful.
Nice. Back in the bustle of Ho Chi Minh City, there was a surprisingly simple but really rewarding activity people recommended, tied to a beautiful old building that contrasts sharply with all the modern skyscrapers nearby.
You mean the main post office in HCMC?
That's the one.
Yeah, it's this stunningly preserved piece of French Gothic architecture, really ornate, cavernous inside, grand arches. One traveler said the interior felt like something out of Harry Potter.
High praise. And the activity.
Super simple, but highly recommended.
Yeah.
Just go inside, find one of the old wooden writing desks, take a quiet moment, write a postcard to someone back home, and actually post it there.
Old school.
Totally old school. It's like this perfect little act of slow travel. Connects the past to the present, connects you back to someone far away.
Lovely. That's really nice. The kindness of the Vietnamese people also seemed to be a recurring theme, didn't it? Those spontaneous moments.
Absolutely. Those unexpected interactions were often the most memorable highlights. One source shared this really moving story about meeting a local man in Ho Chi Minh City. Despite the language barrier, the man just insisted on singing a song for them, just radiating this genuine happiness and warmth.
Wow.
It was that spirit of welcome, that natural friendliness that really seemed to resonate deeply with multiple travelers, just lovely, unscripted moments of connection.
And for a more active but still classic Vietnamese experience, people really loved getting just outside the main tourist hubs, especially near Hoi An.
Oh yeah, the cycle trip from Hoi An's Old Town out to the local beach. It's only about 30 minutes apparently, but universally praised.
What makes it special?
This is that picture-perfect Vietnam moment you imagine, right? Yeah. Cycling leisurely past vibrant green rice paddy fields, seeing water buffalo grazing peacefully, experiencing that slower pastoral rhythm that's such a contrast to the busy town center you just left behind. It's like a necessary mental reset.
And looping back to Hoi An's tailoring obsession, the actual process itself sounded like it was an unforgettable cultural dive, not just about getting clothes made.
Totally. It was described as this real immersion in craftsmanship. The excitement wasn't just getting the final suit or dress, but the whole rapid-fire, hyper-personalized journey.
Right.
Flicking through those thousands of style photos, talking about fabrics and cuts, getting measured up precisely. Then the swift first fitting, maybe just hours later, where they're chalking and pinning the actual garment on your body.
Yeah.
And then, bam, picking up your completely custom, personalized outfit maybe 24 hours later.
It's like a functional, wearable souvenir that you were part of creating.
Exactly. A very memorable process.
Okay, but we have to end this section with a dose of reality. A reminder that travel doesn't always go to plan. One traveler had this really bizarre, unexpected experience on Phu Quoc Island that serves as a perfect counterpoint to all the serene beauty we've discussed.
Ah, yes. Phu Quoc. It was billed, as it often is, as the tropical island paradise escape.
Huh.
But this particular trip ran into severe storms, which led to power outages across parts of the island. Not ideal.
Okay, storms happen, but that wasn't the weirdest part.
No, the truly surreal part was their visit to this place called Grand World. It's this massive theme park / resort complex. And it was built to replicate famous European destinations like Venice, complete with canals, bits of London, Mallorca, just plopped down on this Vietnamese island.
Yeah, sounds ambitious.
Ambitious, maybe.
Uh-huh.
But the reality they found, possibly due to the season or other factors, was that it was almost completely empty. Low visitor numbers, lots of shops and businesses shutter. They described it as feeling like an eerie ghost town.
Wow, like a weird, empty European Disneyland in the tropics.
Pretty much. It was this totally unexpected, almost dystopian contrast to the vibrant, lived-in feeling of the rest of Vietnam they'd experienced. A useful reminder, I guess, that not all huge development projects land perfectly, and travel can definitely throw you some curveballs.
What a journey indeed. From the chaotic but rhythmic streets of Hanoi down through those ancient royal tombs in Hue, touching on serene nature, fast tailoring, and even eerie ghost towns on Phu Quoc.
Quite the range.
So to quickly summarize the core takeaways, the journey itself demands time, 2 weeks minimum, ideally 3. It relies heavily on those efficient, affordable domestic flights for big hops, and pretty much mandates using the Grab app for getting around cities.
And the food. The culinary landscape is incredible. Master the pronunciation of pho. Seek out that geographically unique khao lao in Hoi An. Never, ever skip a banh mi opportunity. And definitely try to track down the original egg coffee spot in Hanoi if you can.
Crucial food missions. And logistically, let's not forget those vital, non-negotiable lessons. Double, triple check that visa processing time against the national holiday calendar before you book anything.
Yes, and call your bank before you leave to figure out which specific Vietnamese ATMs will actually accept your card. Save so much stress.
Okay. It's clear Vietnam offers just immense value for travelers. It seems to manage this amazing balancing act, honoring its deep, sometimes myth-laden past, the imperial city, the French colonial architecture, traditional crafts,
while simultaneously just charging into the future.
Yeah.
Massive infrastructure improvements, those quiet electric vehicles starting to appear, and soaring modern skyscrapers like Landmark 81 dominating the Ho Chi Minh City skyline.
It's that contrast that's so fascinating, isn't it?
It really is.
Yeah.
You've got, like, the ancient Japanese bridge, supposedly holding down a mythical catfish to stop earthquakes, and then these 500-million-year-old limestone pillars in Ha Long Bay, existing in the same country as these buzzing, high-tech megacities that are clearly looking towards the next century. It's like Vietnam is pulling its entire history and its future ambitions into a single, flowing, incredibly energetic present moment.
So, as you listening, maybe start planning your own deep dive into this extraordinary country, the final provocative thought we want to leave you with is this. In a nation defined by such immense geological time and deep history, and yet also by such intense, high-speed, modern energy, how would you choose to balance it? How would you navigate the chaotic, thrilling flow of the cities versus the serene solitude of the ancient natural landscapes, ensuring you truly absorb both the roar of the motorbikes and the profound quiet of the rice fields?
Choose your own tempo. Definitely choose your focus points, but whatever you decide, don't let the fear of crossing the street hold you back from experiencing it all.
We'll leave you to chew on that. Thanks for joining us for the deep dive.